Hello, my name is Brittany and welcome to Family Friday Paint Night. A few words before we begin. To my class, I'm so sad to have canceled, but your health and well-being is very important to me. I truly hope we can all be together in April again. Please stay safe during this time. I'm thinking about you all. To my friends, family, and other viewers, hello! I've been leading a paint night type class since September of 2017 at the lovely Art and Spirituality Center located at Mercy Hospital downtown. My class is unique because it is open to children and it was made to promote bonding between family and friends. You do not need to be an artist to enjoy art. My art isn't perfect, so don't think yours needs to be either. What's perfect anyways? To all those participating in this activity, I just want you to try your best. Don't worry about the outcome. My hope is for you to let go, get lost in the artistic process, and forget about what's currently happening in the world, even just for a little bit. I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Here is what we'll be painting for March of 2020. Disclaimer, this is not my original artwork. I found it somewhere on the internet. I do not take credit for this concept, and I wish I could find the artist who did this so I could give credit. Think of this as a study of the original artwork. Here we have a mountainous scene, mist coming up from the water, a forest, and a moon hiding in the clouds. Feel free to take artistic control and change the colors, make additions or adjustments, or change it up completely. The choice is yours. Alright, let's talk about paint. We will be using acrylic paint for this project. You can go and buy the fancier, more expensive paints if you want to, but for this project, I'm just going to use the ones that you get at craft store or Walmart that are less than $1. We'll need a few colors: white, black, dark brown, yellow, blue, sky blue, purple, and hot pink. Optional is glitter if you want to add that to the moon once it's dry. You can always buy the basic primary and secondary colors instead of all of those and just mix any on your own. Paint brushes that we'll need for this. You'll need a large flat brush, a medium flat brush, mine is at an angle, a detailed brush, a medium round brush, and optional is a fan brush if you have one. You don't need to go out and buy one. I'm going to show you how to do the trees with a fan brush and with the medium round brush. Okay, some other materials we will need: something to put under the canvas or canvas board, such as a tablecloth or newspaper. I'm going to be using a matte board. I've clearly used this one several times. Of course, you'll need something to paint on. I personally am going to be using a canvas board, 12 by 16 specifically. You can use an actual canvas of any size. Then we have our paint. You'll need a plate to put all of your paint on. You can also use a palette if you want to. A water cup, of course, to dip your paintbrush in. And then also a paper towel or old towel. I'm using a towel that I have used plenty of times for other paintings, as you can see here. Okay, order of operations, how this will go. First, we're going to mix our background color and paint our background. Then about a third of the page will stop. You can see here I'm measuring halfway, just a third of that. That bottom third portion will be where we start the water. And then from there, we'll just paint a half circle and only worry about painting that blue with the white. Then we'll draw our mountains. We'll then paint them a purple that we'll be mixing with our purple and pink. We'll draw and paint our other mountains. We'll paint a wavy white line where the bottom of our mountains meet the water. And while we're doing that, we'll also start working on the mist just by watered down white paint. With that watered down white paint, we'll also be doing the clouds, just going back and forth, and also starting our moon. Now finally, where we stopped with our blue half circle, the rest of that we'll be painting black. We will draw and paint some black lines for the tree trunks. Then with our fan brush or round brush, we will be painting the leaves of the tree. Okay, so let's mix that background color. The background is like a brownish, yellowish, grayish color. I'm going to be using black, yellow, brown, white. first start off with more white than you think. Just pour enough for now. You can always get more. Then I'm going to do just a little drop of black. I made the mistake of doing too much. Don't do that. Then we'll be doing just a little bit of brown with a little bit of yellow and mix that up. We'll just be, kind of eyeballing it. It's your preference. You can add a little more yellow, a little more brown. It is up to you. Take this time to mix up your paint color. Alongside our background color that we just mixed, I'm going to be adding some white to my palette. The background isn't meant to be a solid color, just like the sky. It's not a solid color. So I'm going to be in between adding some white mixed in with that color that we just made and just going back and forth. Alright, so let's start painting. I'm getting my large flat brush and about a third of the page, just going to make that line just to go off by. And then just back and forth, I'm going to be painting that with our background color, mixing it with the white. Also, don't forget about the edges. I like to have color on my edges as well. You don't have to, you can paint it black, you can just leave it how it is, but that's just a personal thing. So I'm just going to be doing my background. So I let my background dry, so as we mentioned before, I'm going to get my sky blue, pour some on my palette, and then where we stopped with our background, I'm just going to draw a line there with my brush and just do a half circle. Don't worry about making it perfect, we're just going to paint right on top of that after. I went ahead and switched to my large flat brush just because it covers more area faster. I'm going to paint that in a solid blue color, and then after that I'm going to go and dip into my white, and with the tip of my flat brush where it is flat, I'm just going to go back and forth with the white, just making it look like waves. And surprise, surprise, I'm not sticking inside the lines. As I mentioned, you don't even have to worry about that. We're just going to paint over it anyways, but you can add different colors, different dark blues if you want to, but I'm just going to stick to the blue and white that we have and just go back and forth with it until I'm okay. Okay, so I let the water dry, so now I'm going to go ahead and draw the peaks of our lighter purple mountains. About a third of the page is where that first one is, and you can just, do it however you want to. I'm just trying to stick by the picture so it's easier for everybody. But we're just going to draw one big mountain, then a little one right next to it, and then on the edge of the right side, one coming off of the page. Now we need to mix that lighter purple mountain color. I'm going to do my purple that I have and then also put in that hot pink that I have and just mix it together to my liking. I absolutely love this color. Fun fact, purple is one of my favorite colors. I love this color. So I'm just going to mix that up and then with my detail brush outline it and then paint it solid with this color that we just made, and then between add some hot pink to give it some dimension. So let's just work on our mountains. Well, that was fun. How'd you do? I'm sure you did great. So I let my mountains dry, and now we're going to be drawing and painting the mountains that are in the foreground, background first, then foreground. So I'm just going to do some peaks in between the mountains that I have. On the right side, there's one that's taller, the tallest one, and then in between our big and small one on our left side, there's one in between, and you can just, do whatever you feel like doing. Alright, now that we drew those mountains, we need to mix the color. I'm just using my darkest purple that I have, just a regular purple, mixed with our standard blue that we have to make that bluish purple color. What is it? Indigo? I don't know my colors. Then after that, we're just going to get a little more of our regular purple and mix that in with a little bit of black just to make a darker purple. And we'll get started on painting. Okay, so we'll be painting these mountains from darkest to lightest. So the darkest mountains that we have are the little tiny one in between, right in the center of the page, then the one coming off of the right side. So those two we're going to outline first with our detail brush. We're just going to paint that a solid black color. Now that middle mountain is basically just a lighter purpley black color, and that's what we made. So with that color, we're just going to paint that mountain. If it looks a little too black, that's fine. At least we have the shape in there. Alright, so for these mountains, the ones in the foreground, the two larger ones that we have left, I'm getting my detail brush and I'm just going to outline it in black first. When we blend all of these colors, we just need to try to blend when the paint is still wet. That'll make things a lot easier. So first I'm going to outline in the black and then mix it going from our darker purple. And then finally, once it gets closer to the bottom of the mountain, we'll use that blue-purple color. And we're just going to blend it back and forth to your preference. I am probably going to need to do 2 layers, and at any point in time, if you need to let something dry to do another layer, that is perfectly fine. I do that all the time. I'm just showing you a different view of what the mountains look like. In that other video, it made it seem like the color was a lot darker and more blue than it was, but this is what my mountains are looking like right now. Okay, so we're actually getting closer to finishing. I'd probably say we're past the halfway point. I'm pouring out some fresh white, and we're going to start working on the moon and the clouds. So first I'm just mapping out where I want my moon to be, and here's a little trick. I changed out my water cup so it's all nice and pretty. I'm just going to, with my wet brush, kind of trace out where the moon should go, and it'll dry up just like nothing ever happened. So it's a good way to draw something without a pencil. So I'm just practicing my circular moon right now, and then I'm going to dip into the white paint. On the left side, I'm going to go a little bit heavier with the white paint. Again, I'm going to be working with the paint when it's still wet. So you'll see me dipping into the water a lot. That's we're kind of basically making watercolor with acrylic paint, and that's just to get it watered down and a little bit see-through. So right now with the paint that I have already, I'm just going in circular motions to just blend it out and make it look as see-through as possible. Okay, so now we'll be painting a wavy white line where the bottom of our mountains meet the water. We're going to be going back and forth working on the mist coming off from the water and the clouds with our watered down white paint. But right now I'm just trying to make it as thick as possible. Okay, it is time to work on the clouds. So I'm just going to work on getting my white watered down, just kind of making a watercolor actually. Try not to make it so thick, really just try to add as much water as possible. I'm going to start in the top left hand corner and just go in circular motions and kind of just draw it out going to the right side. That's how I do my clouds, but if you have a different way of doing your clouds, that is totally fine. And I'm kind of just going off of the placement of the original picture that I had, and you can follow along what I'm doing right here, but feel free to add clouds wherever you feel. Just again, try to get it as watered down as possible and let that dry, and then you can keep adding in different layers on top to make it look thicker and lighter in some areas. Try to make some nice fluffy clouds. Okay, so same concept of what we just did with the clouds. We're going to work on the mist coming up from the water, going up to the mountains. So again, use some watered down white paint. Start at the base of where that white line is, where the mountains meet the water, and just work your way up. And for this first layer, just add as much water as possible and let that dry. And then we'll do another layer on top of that that's a little bit thicker. And then the last layers will be thicker as well. But for this one, just lighter and more water is better. This is what my painting is looking like right now. I have a good start on my clouds and my moon and the first layer of my misty water done. So now the next things that you'll be seeing, it's just going to be me going back and forth, adding in layer after layer just to make it a little bit more with dimension. gosh, we are so close to finishing. So now with my medium flat brush, for me it's my little angle brush, I'm just going to kind of follow that line or that curve of what we did for the water and just paint that a solid black. That's going to be the ground that our trees are standing on. Paint that solid black first. Alright, so again, I'm just going off of the original picture, mapping out where I want my lines to go. You can use a pencil, probably pencil is best. You can always use chalk too if you're ever sketching something out. But I'm just going to do about 8 little lines. You can make them taller than what I'm doing, you can make them shorter, do it in a different order, it is up to you. But first I'm going to draw out the tree trunks and then paint them with my detail brush. Here's the last step, the leaves of the tree. So I'm going to be using the fan brush at first just to show you how to use it, and then I'll switch off to the round brush. But first I'm going to dip into some black paint and start with the bottom, the base of the tree first, and that's going to be the widest area, and literally it's just dabbing back and forth with the bristles. Okay, so now for the other option, using the round brush, The way that I do it, of course, there's so many different ways to do trees, is basically like a little Christmas tree. So I'm starting on one side at a time with the tip of my brush, just kind of flaring it out at a bottom angle and just filling it in as much as I want to, leaving some space in between for the branches. it, my friends. Good job if you made it through and you finished the painting. I'm happy with it. I really wish that I was able to be with my Family Friday class tonight and do this with them. But I am also happy that more people have gotten the chance and the opportunity to see what I do in my class, because sometimes it gets full. As you can see, my first study and my second study, my first and second attempts are not the same. So if your painting doesn't look like mine, that's totally fine. I really want to see it though, so I hope that you had fun, and I hope that this time you spent painting, you were able to let go and to not worry about things that are happening in the world right now. But I hope that everyone listening and watching is safe during this time, and we all can get through this together. Have a great rest of your weekend, and if you like this video, I may make some more in the future. I mean, I feel like I have the time now. So have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.